Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and coming up in today's bulletin, damage draws in the big guns, New Zealand Music Hall of Famer in Nelson, 1080 completed and monitoring begins, house price rise and fall in the region, DHB serious adverse effects and quality survey, legal highs if government can counsel, police raid Nets plants when investigating another matter. The devastation wrought by hailstorms last week on a number of orchards in Rewalker, Motueka and Lower Moutere has seen the industry, central government and the council take an active role in supporting the families affected. Minister for Primary Industries Nathan Guy flew into the region on Tuesday morning to visit hail-damaged orchards in the Tasman area. His first stop was the Drummond Orchard, The Pines in Rewalker. He then went to neighbouring Ingalls Horticulture and ended his tour at Palmer Orchards Limited in Lower Moutere. Approximately 40 orchards were hit by a number of storms, causing widespread damage to the apple crop, predominantly with kiwi fruit and hops also affected. While the kiwi fruit orchards are universally insured and the damage sustained by the hops was early enough in the season to recover in the main, there were a number of apple growers and their families and staff who will be significantly impacted by this event. Tasman Mayor Richard Kempthorne acknowledged the damage that this event has caused, saying that in situations like this, it's not just the orchardist families that are affected, the effect is spread more widely through the whole community. He said the focus of attention by everyone involved will now be on providing the support needed for the growers involved to be able to make the best decisions they can in the situation they find themselves. Mayor Kempthorne was also visiting the orchards with the Minister of Primary Industry Nathan Guy to see firsthand the storm's impact on the growers' operations and to lend support. They were accompanied by Ian Palmer, the Pipfruit New Zealand representative, who was leading the response. We asked people if they thought there should be some financial assistance for those affected.
About 20 orchards from Moutere through to Ruaka have been decimated by hail. What are your feelings on the government financial assistance to those affected?
Well, if the government helped people out every time they were affected, we'd be bankrupt.
Yeah, I think if people are in hardship and hailstorms come along, the government tend to assist other farming operations when there's times of hardships. It's a natural disaster, it's something you can't control, and it dramatically affects people that put money back into the community. So yeah, I think it's a good move to give them pay some money where hardship is pretty bad.
Awesome, but
Well, I mean, look at the people in Christchurch, how affected they were and still are. I mean, you've got to put the money that's available where it's really needed. And although I feel sorry for the apple growers, they might have a bumper crop next year and make up for it.
awesome.
Oh, that's great, yes. It's their livelihood, so they should get some assistance.
This week we had in our studio New Zealand Hall of Fame musician Alan Mansfield, who worked extensively with legendary Kiwi band Dragon up until the sudden death of the band's lead vocalist Mark Hunter. Alan has toured extensively with many world-renowned artists over the years, and he is also the partner of our own Sharon O'Neill. Chrissy Small caught up with Alan and asked him about meeting Sharon, his past, and whether they will make the move back to New Zealand.
We're really fortunate to have in the studio Alan Mansfield, who is the partner of our wonderful Sharon O'Neill, who we had in the studio last week. This week it's Alan's turn. It's actually Alan's birthday today. Happy birthday, Alan.
Thank you, Chrissy, darling. Thank you.
Yeah, look, we're just really rapt to have you here. It's such a busy day. I'm sure there's lots of exciting adventures that you need to be on right now, but I'm keeping you back for 5 minutes.
Sharon will keep me busy today.
Yeah. Now, great concert on the weekend. 2 concerts really, but the big one on Saturday was fabulous.
It was, wasn't it? It was really good.
Yeah, and
you were there to witness it and sing it.
Yeah, well, that's right. I was humming in the background. But you know what? The thing is, and you must feel it because you live away from your hometown, and you're in Australia, in Sydney, and that's now your home. But you're from New York, and so coming to Sharon's hometown. Do you feel kind of excited by doing that, by coming here?
Well, we've been coming back quite a few years now, and every time we come back it's like a breath of fresh air. So it's really good, and it was really great coming back this time with Sharon being in the hometown girl, and the concert was great, and it's always good. It's always great fun to come back and see family.
And of course, the banter from stage and from the audience, you could see that there were a lot of old friends and family and schoolmates of Sharon's that were around to join in with the evening's celebration.
Yeah, I think they came out of the woodwork
Yeah.
and wanted to be there, which was really cool, really good.
Now, going back to you, of course, you would have met Sharon during the Years of Dragon, is that right?
That's correct. We were Dragon. We just finished doing the Body and the Beat album, and we were on tour, and Sharon supported us for the first, I don't know, 3 weeks or whatever it was, and we were on the road, and we had two planes because we were doing country towns and a lot of places, and we had 2 planes. One was called the Body and one was the Beat, and I think she was the Body. Is that correct? I think so. I believe I got a nod. Yeah, she was the Body and we were the Beat, and it was very cool. And that's when we met. So we actually met at a countdown 10-year celebration anniversary show. So that's basically what we call our first meeting.
Right.
Thing.
Okay, and so, you know, like the relationship between you both has been magical because you write together, you play together, I mean music together, you know, and all kinds of other ways.
Quite a few years, Chrissy.
So, look, you know, this is great that this has been a long-lasting connection.
Yeah, well, it was never planned. It certainly wasn't plotted, and it just fell into place. It's just like naturally just progressing, and never really thought about it, you know.
Now, your musical career has spanned, I mean, now, you know, going back before Dragon, classical training.
Yeah, I went to the school in Boston, Massachusetts, in the States, Boston Conservatory of Music, which is a really cool school. And I went there and I was majoring in music education and clarinet. Clarinet. But I was playing drums, putting myself through college. So I was playing gigs on the weekend on drums and doing all these rock and roll things and all. So it was a great cluster of all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then, so that was basically my learning period in college.
And did you see what direction at that stage where you wanted to take the music?
I thought I just wanted to be a music teacher. And then, believe it or not, now we're going way back here, there was a piano player called Diodato. And he did a version of 2001 Space Odyssey. Now this is like really stretching time. But I heard this and I went, wow, I want to play piano like that. And I went out and bought myself a Fender Rhodes and just started playing and doing more stuff like that. And
so you dropped the clarinet?
No. I kept clarinet going, kept my classical side of it.
Great.
But just heard that song and I just went, wow, that was really cool. And I think it was actually one of the first commercial successes that actually featured the Fender Rhodes piano. So it was pretty like, whoa, earth-shattering, you know. It was good.
And so then you got into the band scene?
Yes. Well, I was always in bands. I always played it from when I was 14.
Okay.
Basically 13, 14. I was always playing drums in bands. So I love bands, you know. I love being in a band. I love the companionship and the playing off each other and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just love it. I love it.
Yeah.
If it's a good band. If it's not, it sucks, basically. You know?
The Department of Conservation has now completed its pest eradication program, Battle for Our Birds, using its aerial predator control work over about 257,000 hectares of the Kahurangi National Park, making this the largest in one area it has ever carried out. The aerial 1080 pest control was undertaken to decimate high rat numbers, fueled by heavy beech seed fall and also targeted possums. Stoat numbers are thought to also be affected through their eating poison carcasses, preventing explosion in stoat numbers in the park this summer. The aerial pest control in western, northern and eastern park areas was divided into 5 operational blocks. Non-toxic baits were sown first to encourage rats and possums to eat cereal baits containing biodegradable 1080 pesticide applied later. Department of Conservation Westport Conservation Service Manager Bob Dixon said that monitoring will take place to measure the effects of the pest control on rat levels. Warning signs are in place at entrances to the Kahurangi pest control areas and in huts to advise the public of the risks of the pesticides and poisoned carcasses. People should not touch baits or poison carcasses if they come across them. Tracks were either excluded from the 1080 bait application or temporarily closed and cleared of baits before they were reopened. The Kaharangi Pest Control is among 25 Battle for Our Birds operations nationally using aerial applied 1080 over about 700,000 hectares of conservation land to protect native wildlife from rat and stoat plagues. Aerial 1080 predator control has been completed over more than 60% of the total area so far.
1080 is a controversial way to deal with pests. What do you think of DOC using this poison?
Unfortunately, I don't like 1080, but I don't see any alternative. And I am a keen hunter, and it's certainly not going to be the end of the deer and the pigs and everything else. So unfortunately, until something better comes along, we're stuck with it. And it really I hate it when I see people stop 1080, because it would be an absolute disaster for the bush and the birds and that I really like.
They've got to have it. There's no other way.
I haven't got a lot of information about it, or, knowledge. I'm on the fence, I'm afraid, because I read all the letters in the paper, the ones that are against it and the ones that are for it. So, you read one and it says the rat are being killed, and then you read another saying the birds are. So I've got to sit on the fence for that one, sorry.
Some great news for our Nelson Marlborough District Health Board is that Nelson Marlborough hospitals have done very well in the results from the first national survey of hospital inpatients released this month. The Health Quality and Safety Commission has collated the results of a sample of hospital inpatients from all over the country. In the survey, patients were asked to rate their experience in the 4 key areas of communication, involvement in their care, coordination of their care, and having their physical and emotional needs met during their last stay in hospital. The average rating for each of the 4 key areas was over 8 out of 10. Nelson Marlborough District Health Board Chief Executive Chris Fleming said that Nelson Marlborough results are outstanding and show the level of patient satisfaction within our community is very high, and I commend the hospital staff for producing this result. Nelson Marlborough DHB Chief Executive Chris Fleming said the Nelson Marlborough results are outstanding and show the level of patient satisfaction within our community is very high, and I commend the hospital staff for producing this result. Nelson Marlborough District Health Board patients most valued the way the staff met their physical and emotional needs and considered that they were treated with respect and dignity. They also had a high level of trust and confidence in the nursing staff. Patients rated these areas 9 out of 10. Nelson Marlborough DHB hospitals rated around the nation's average or higher. There were no areas that the patients rated lower than the national average. DHBs undertook the survey between the 26th of August and the 19th of September 2014 with over 1,500 responses, which represents about a quarter of patients contacted. We asked people on the street about their experiences of our local health system.
What is your opinion on funding, therefore waiting lists being cut for elective surgery at this moment?
We all want our operation like today, but do understand that funding's difficult, and so must be hard for the government making the decisions. Yes, but it's hard to see the waiting list getting longer. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, because the population's getting older in New Zealand, so there's going to be more people wanting it. So to have a cutting of services is not that good.
Anyone you know is or has been waiting for surgery?
Yeah, no complaints about the hospital or the staff or anything, just the waiting lists.
Have you had any elective surgery in the last 2 years?
No, I haven't, James, but my young son had. He had grommets put in. We were on a waiting list for about 6 months, and they got back to us and they did a good job. He had his adenoids done at the same time, and I was very pleased with it, and he got to hear a lot better. So I'm very grateful to our hospital system.
With all the hype and money spent on marijuana enforcement and many people getting criminal records and imprisoned because of it, the public may be forgiven as seeing it as hypocritical in the extreme that our government cannot ban legal highs, that can be argued are far more harmful on many levels. The only difference, it seems, is that one is promoted by corporations and pays tax. However, mayors and CEOs of the South Island councils say the issue of psychoactive substances is still a problem within their communities and are putting a resolution to central government that in essence is saying if you can't ban legal highs, then empower local authorities to do so. and they will be approaching Minister for State Services Paula Bennett and Minister of Health Peter Dunn to further the idea. Mayor Kempthorne says that councils are confident our communities would support such an action, and they would only be put in place with the support of those communities. And finally, on the topic of substances, Murchison Police discovered a sophisticated indoor cannabis growing operation while conducting routine inquiries in St Arnaud on Saturday afternoon. After seeing cannabis plants growing inside the house, police searched the property and recovered more than 450 cannabis plants in various stages of maturity. Detective John Nichols said that the property appeared to be well set up, with plants growing in several rooms which were fitted with timers, lighting and ventilation systems. The occupier of the property was not home at the time, but presented himself to police the following Monday. A 30-year-old St Arnaud man has been charged with offences relating to the find and will appear in Nelson District Court on the 17th of November. And now we will leave you with a Robert Palmer song featuring visiting musician Alan Mansfield.